2011, while President appointed as acting honorary secretary of Federation of Indian Photography following the sad demise of Mr. Benu Sen. 2012, 2014, 2016, and 2018 elected as Honorary Secretary General of Federation of Indian Photography unanimously. 2016 awarded E.S. Fiap at Fiap World Congress at Seoul. Started the culture of workshops in Federation of Indian Photography at affordable prices. Federation of Indian Photography has so far conducted 45 national as well as 6 international workshops in the last 4 years alone. Photographer of the Year and Youth Photographer of the Year awards are running smoothly under the banner of Federation of Indian Photography. Since 2014, FIP is conducting national as well as international digital circuits, salons, and print salon as well. Over 1,000 photo artists of India have successfully achieved national or international distinctions in the last 4 years alone. This is an unparalleled feat anywhere in the world. FIP conducts maximum number of salons with FIA patronage in the world. All-woman jury panel for salons was initiated by FIP with unprecedented success. Instrumental in hosting 2 FIAP Nature World Cups in India in the year 2010 and 2014. Editor-in-Chief for FIP published Blue Sapphire, which became a landmark success story. So now we go over to Dr. B.K. Sinha and we will listen to what he
একটা
says.
মিনিট শান্তিনিদা, প্রীতম পাজা, আপনি স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করছেন কেন দাদা? এক্ষুনি প্রেজেন্টিংটা বন্ধ করুন। হ্যালো প্রীতম পাজা, কোথায় গেলেন আপনি? হ্যালো প্রীতম পাজা, থ্যাংক ইউ। আপনারা যারা যারা ভিডিওটা অন করে রেখেছেন একটু অফ করে দিন। हाँ सर,
हाँ बोलो,
स्टार्ट कीजिए सर।
Yes, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and also again I thank you for the invitation to be present among your members. How do I share my screen with you? Screen share.
Sir, on the right bottom corner, you will find present now.
Yes. Can you see the screen? Prostate to portrait?
Yes.
Well, again, welcome to all of you, and I hope you will like the presentation. This is the story of my journey from prostate to portrait. Many of you will wonder why have I chosen this name from prostate to portrait. Well, the story is that if you see this picture, this is my house on your right, where I live, and my father used to be a general surgeon, and in the front part of this house was our nursing home, and the back part was our residence. When I came back from England, I joined the practice of my father, who was a general surgeon. I was trained as a general surgeon as well as urologist. So I chose to confine myself as urologist and started practicing here. And gradually, I purchased the land in front of our house, which is here, this land, and built a house. Built a hospital where I am practicing since 2003 November. So when this front part of the house became empty, because I shifted all clinical work from this place to this place, my consulting chamber was lying empty. So I converted into that chamber into a studio. Very simple, one curtain rod with 3 backdrops and three lights and a light meter, and I already had a tripod and infrared device to shutter the flash, to start the flash, because at that time radio trigger was not available. This was 2003. My elder son, who was in UK at that time, he came to Patna and he said, "Dad, why don't you write a signboard, portrait on this side and prostate on this side?" So this is how this story starts. And the problem was at that time, and still to some extent now, to get professional models in Patna. Female models were out of question in 2003. If Gautam will remember, when we conducted a workshop in Patna in 2005, we had a portrait session for which the model was a young daughter of my friend, because there was no professional model, there was no makeup man. So I decided to not to use female models, rather use my patients who were males mostly, because prostate is a disease only affects males, and that is how my journey from prostate to portrait started. Coming back to the very beginning of my love for nature is this place where I visited way back in 1969. I didn't know what is a SLR and what is other camera. I just went there for a picnic and could not get a room for accommodation in the night. So we were wandering around, and then we suddenly found this tower. This is Hazaribagh National Park, not National Park, Hazaribagh Sanctuary, and this is tower number 3, and we decided to stay overnight here. And this was the month of September, and early morning when we got up, the ambience, the petrichor was so encompassing to all of us that we fell in love with nature. That was the beginning of the story. There was no photography involved at that time, and for some reasons, from between September 1969 till 71, when I got that SLR, I made 3-4 visits to Hazaribagh, and all I saw was a rabbit, 1 or 2 sambar, and few other birds. But the ambience was so beautiful, so wonderful, that we kept going. And then suddenly this windfall came, and I got this camera for 1,000 rupees. Can you believe? two SLR bodies, one normal lens and one 200 mm, all for 1,000 rupees. Heavily used, but in good working condition. And that gave me excuse to visit more and more. And I started visiting Betla, which was animal-wise better. And this is my first or second wildlife picture with a 200 mm. This elephant was miles away, 300, 400 yards away from us. And this is, I've taken at that period of time, same trips. And this is my first patient, first portrait picture in my studio on a patient on whom I had operated only 3 days ago. This was the day of discharge. He was wheeled on a wheelchair to my home, and as he was my patient, he could not have said no to me. So I took a picture with very simple lighting, one from the back, one from front, and one to highlight the. So this picture was taken much later. This is again outdoor shoot picture of, he is himself a photographer. This was taken at Indore. I enjoy more in the outdoor taking portraits rather than indoor, but I do both. And many people think that I only do nature photography. Nothing can be far from truth. I do many kinds of photography. But only thing which I have not done seriously is tabletop photography. My granddaughter, again in the available window light, is street photography in front, just near my gate of my house. He was sitting there, and this picture was taken. No light. I have not used any reflector. Nothing. Just simple light, available light. Again, simple light. Whatever was there, no reflector. She is a professional model, but taken outdoor in South Africa. This is Cambodia. Again, Cambodia. This is Chiang Mai Island. This is a professional model. They had arranged 2 elephants, and she cooperated with us. The elephants also cooperated with us. This is a professional model in Goa. This was a FIP workshop. Again, outdoor shoot. This is indoor shoot at Calcutta. Outdoor at Chiang Mai. This is village photography at Kausani. This is Goa. This is a composite picture. The hand which you see here is in Seoul, is in South Korea, and this model was shot at Kaziranga. Outdoor shoot in South Africa, professional model. This is YJ, indoor shoot. Indoor shoot. Again, indoor shoot. This is 2010 FIP workshop at Jodhpur. Professional model. YJ, Calcutta. This is outdoor at Latpulcher. Yes. No, Lapta Jagat. Where is that? YJ. This is the Hornbill Festival, Nagaland, Calcutta. composite, Calcutta and Cambodia. This is the professional model at PSA Photo Festival last year in America. This is at Sonpur Mela, village lady. This is again Calcutta. This is during Udaipur convention 2014. No, 2016. Sorry, 2016. This is Latta Jagat, outdoor shoot. This is Chiang Mai Island, Thailand. This is during Arfu workshop, which I attended, I think 2014 or 15. This is during a village shoot, not my village, but some other village in Bihar only. Purulia. This is my village home. This is the shot at my village. This is Bodh Gaya, all available live. Again in a village. Purulia. These are some landscapes. This is Torres del Plains in Chile, Patagonia. And you can see this small village here where we stayed. The weather was unexpectedly good. And we got very good landscapes. This is same range, but not in Chile. This is in Argentina. Argentinian part of Patagonia. Again, Chile. This is the world famous Iguazu Falls. There are over 100 falls, which takes about 3 days to see. All part of the same river, Iguazu River. Goes through 3 different countries, Paraguay, Argentina and Brazil. This is the Yellowstone National Park, world's oldest national park. This was the first national park ever constituted or made, declared as a national park, this place. This is Switzerland. Colosseum at dusk in Rome. This is the Machu Picchu. Generally, people go there only for one fine morning, but we decided that we'll do it 2 mornings. And this beautiful picture we got on the second morning. With some mist and the light breaking through the mist. Same place. This is an aerial shot in Namibia. Old picture, 2006. Taken from a small plane. One of the very famous photographers of India, Mr. C. Rajagopal, he coined the word the line of light, but this is the line of shadows. This was in an open museum in Morocco shot last year. This is Cambodia. He is a charcoal hunter. They make charcoal by burning the woods, and you can very well imagine what happens to his lungs, because he's in that pit almost whole day digging out the coal. It was warm, hot, and dusty. This is village photography. Again, village photography. These are the pictures, black and white, who are, if you say in Hindi, कुछ तस्वीरें ऐसी होती है जो रंगों की मोहताज नहीं होती. These are those pictures. इसमें कलर होना जरूरी नहीं है. The black and white in different shades tells you whatever you want to know. This is the life and death story of world's largest temple complex, which is in Cambodia. And apart from the main temple, there are more than 200 temples which are not taken care of. And these branches, what you see here, are fig trees. Bargat ka ped, people ka ped, they are all fig trees. And the fig trees have over 900 subspecies. And the common name for all the fig trees is Ficus strangulosa, which actually means that they will strangulate and destroy anything which comes in their contact, living or dead. You can see this dismantled blocks of rock here. These were part of a temple few hundred years ago. But now, because of the uncontrolled growth of fig trees, they are lying scattered here and there. You can see what is happening. It's breaking down. If you go after 20 years, these blocks will be down on the floor. This, you can see the fig trees growing menacingly. And you can also see human figure. Same story. Here there is a temple inside and the fig tree is growing and growing. Look at this. Same story. And I thought black and white picture, जो रंगों की मोहताज नहीं है, will convey my feelings better than if the same picture was in color. Same here. As if, in the villages, they call it ajgar. The big snake is growing like that, you see, because it destroys anything. It will just encircle it and kill it. Look at this temple. Few hundred years ago, there were prayers going on. Now, there are only footsteps of tourists. Nothing else is there. When I saw this temple, by default, I started singing a song from a film of early 1950s called Bandini. होता तू पीपल मैं होती अमर लता तेरी, तेरे गले माला बनकर बड़ी लहराती रे. ये गाना एस.डी. बर्मन ने गाया था और इतना सटीक बैठता है इस सिचुएशन पे कि माय फ्रेंड सेड कि सर हाउ डिड यू रिमेंबर दिस सॉन्ग. आई सेड इट जस्ट came from inside. I didn't remember anything. This is the elephant at Sonpur Mela. This was 15 years ago. There was a time when I have myself seen nearly 100 elephants in Sonpur Mela. Nowadays, even if you see 2 elephants, you are lucky, because there is a total ban on sale and purchase of elephants. And they will bring the elephant for bathing every morning. Nowadays, even that is restricted because this takes place on the Kartik Purnima day, which is after 6 days from today. I hope you know the story of Gaj and Gra, and the story is there was a conflict between an elephant and the Gra is a crocodile, and this conflict started at somewhere 50 to 60 miles upstream. This river you see is the Gandak River, and it started upstream near the border of Nepal. And elephant was under the influence that Lord Vishnu will come and help me. So he started the fight, but he was losing the fight. The crocodile pulled him down 40 to 60 miles right up to this place called Sonpur, where Gandak meets river Ganga. So when the elephant saw the huge confluence of water, he thought that if in this small river I cannot win, what will happen of me if he pulls me into the Ganga river, that big river? So then he remembered Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu came to rescue him, and the life of the elephant was saved. There is a temple there, gives you very good view, but I tell you, on the Kartik Purnima day, you just cannot enter that place. Hundreds and thousands of people are, like bees. They are there to for offerings. And here also you can see on this particular day, this was 2005, 8 lakhs of people, 8 lakh persons took a dip in this river, Gandak river. It is considered very holy on that day, Kartik Purnima. Mostly these people come from villages. They camp in the orchards of mango, and they cook their littis and things like that. And it's a sad part that this Mela is losing its shine slowly because of the ban on the elephants and other animals also. This is Purulia, rural Grand Prix. This guy is in Cambodia. Cambodia went through a civil war, and there are hundreds of mines still unmapped, undiscovered, and so he has lost his limb, and he plays his musical instrument to earn his livelihood. This is Corona and Banda. This was September 2019 when the river came to Patna rather than we going to river. And when I reached Patna on the 25th of September, after attending the PSA photo festival, I found 1 feet of water in my home. My wife and my sister-in-law were there. We all moved immediately to the hospital, and I was sitting whole day for next 5 days on the balcony of the front room, which was meant for patients. And people were using different convents, and I took this picture. This is again a travel photo from Morocco. This is, I think you can guess, this is Banaras, Mandu, my village. Same city, same river in my city. Again taken from the balcony of my house, of my hospital. from the same balcony. This is a Victorian festival in New Zealand. Can you guess who is this person? Scuba diving. This is me. And this is with an underwater Coolpix camera. Now coming to nature, this is Bandipur, a female tigress. Cheetah attacking wildebeest baby. Cheetahs are my favorite because I got my MPF on 20 images of cheetahs, all shot in one trip in 2008 in Tanzania. And this was much later on. This was not part of my cheetah series, which won the MPF for me. This is different. This is much later in 2014. And this picture, this is an eye level picture of a cheetah. I am lying on the ground only about 20 feet from the cheetah. No firearms with us, nothing to protect except the goodwill between the photographer and the cheetah. And he's disturbed. You can see the expression on his face because of this small fly constantly buzzing him. And I followed this cheetah for next 2 days and I took several pictures, all while lying flat on the ground. He is rolling. I had a bean bag on the ground on which I rested my camera. I was lying absolutely flat on the mud. Sharpening the clothes. This is polar bear on the black rocks. It's a marine animal, lives mostly in the water, and it had made a kill. The kill is of seal. This particular polar bear was with us for over 3 hours. And we were on a small ship, 10, 12 photographers, and all of us got very good images. When the inner line of North Pole was less than 50 kilometers from this place. This is a young crocodile which has killed the African roller. This is in India, Saptal, flycatcher. 2 young lions in rain. The whole family is in the rain. I've cropped this one. So this was looking at the back. So it's not forming a good composition. That's crop left. I think there were 5 of them. This is the story of a water hole. You can see so many species here. The elephant, the lion, the killed zebras, and the 2-3 species of birds here. young sheep, leopard with mother. Leopard on the rock in Serengeti. This is a natural light picture of hummingbird. But most of the picture of hummingbirds like this one are taken in artificial light. For this particular picture, I have used 5 flash and four flash, a tripod, and a hanging device to hang this flower, and even the background is artificial. Now, you will say whether this is permissible in nature photography. The answer is yes, it is permissible. How the technique of high-speed flash photography, I would like to say a few words about it. It sounds very fancy and it sounds very difficult, but that is not the case. It's very simple. Now you see these birds, if I go back one picture, this is shot without a flash. I have used a tripod. This is a naturally occurring flower, nothing artificial about it. And the hummingbirds were attracted for the nectar. All I did was put my tripod and the 200 mm lens, focus this and waited for the hummingbird to come. The light was not great, but I think I got a speed of around 1200 or 1800, something like that, at a ISO of around 1000 and aperture of 8. Even if I use a speed of 2000, this part will always be blurred, as you can see. Even most cameras will allow you up to 4000, 1 by 4000 or up to 1 by 8000 of a second shutter speed. If you use 1 by 4000, the ISO will go up in the sky and the picture will be full of noise. So you are limited to use the shutter speed up to 2000 or less. Otherwise, you will get grains and grains and grains on it. The picture will be spoiled. No software can remove all those grains. Even this picture has got some grains, which I have not tried to remove, but I can remove this. In high-speed flash, like here, there are no grains, and you can see even the tip of the wings are pin sharp. Why? Because here you first set up this whole thing in a shade, so that there is no you avoid bright light. Direct sunlight is very bright. You want something which is 4 stop less than the bright sunlight. And your camera will only allow you to use the shutter of 1 by 250 if you are using a flash. So you use that shutter speed of 1 by 250. And you reduce the ISO to 100 or even less than 100, so that when you shoot without a flash, you get no picture. It is just black, and black, because you use a speed which is relatively high, 250, but you have reduced the ISO to 100 or less. Aperture should be 8 or 11. In the shade, you will get no details, nothing, no, even this flower will not show up. Now when you use the flash, everything else, the flash will work, the intensity of the flash is reduced to 1 by 32 or 1 by 64. At that intensity, the duration of the flash becomes 1 by 20,000 of a second. So you are virtually shooting at 1 by 20,000 of the second, which your camera doesn't allow. But because of using the flash, you can use that. And here, a flash from top, two flash from the camera side, and one from the back to highlight this against light effect here. And this is the simple way. And initial setup, they use a bird feeder, which is nothing like, is just like a lantern, and the bottom has got syrup. So they put that 2 or 3 bird feeders for 1 hour, and about 10 hummingbirds will get attracted to the bird feeder, and they will come for feeding. Now, by definition, hummingbirds are the birds who can flutter their wings more than 200 times per second. And they are the only birds which can stay in the air like an helicopter, static. They can move back, they can move front, they can move sideways also, because of the high fluttering of the wing. Now, when you are ready with everything, flash, everything, then they will remove the feeders. And this flower is there, they will spray some syrup on this. Now, the birds will come looking for the syrup in the bird feeder, and the bird feeder is gone. And they are used to the syrup. So they will smell the syrup at the flower and get attracted. And as soon as they come, you start firing. So this is very simple way of taking picture. I was under the impression that these pictures are not allowed in nature category. But I asked PSA authorities, I asked PF authorities, it is perfectly legal, and I am repeating, it is perfectly legal to use this kind of setup for nature photography. Again, same thing. This is pied kingfisher in Chobe River in Botswana, Africa. This is Katmai National Park in Alaska. I've been there twice and always been rewarded. This picture is taken at the shutter speed of 1 by 15. I've used a monopod and used the railing of the watch tower for support. The lens I have used is 120 to 300 2.8 zoom made by Sigma. This is 300 mm prime lens Canon. This was taken way back in 2008, same 1 by 15 second. The bear is not moving. The reason is they are waiting for the fish, and they are concentrating in the water that when the fish comes and takes a jump to go upstream, they will catch it. This is the river crossing in Tanzania, not Masai Mara River, but one of the tributaries of Masai Mara, Mara River, not Masai Mara River, but Mara River. Masai Mara is the national park. Same. This is a short video. I'm using a still camera and my mobile camera for video photography, and you can hear the shutter firing. Look at the joy on the face of these village boys of my own village. They're so happy to see their image. And thank you everybody. This was the last image. I'll welcome any questions which you have.
আপনারা ওনাকে প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন অথবা চ্যাট বক্সে লিখে প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন।
Yes, go on. Fire your questions, please.
Good evening, Dr. Sinha. I am Dr. Kormokar from Kolkata. I keep a bit of interest in wildlife photography mainly. I want to ask you, so if the hummingbird picture could be taken in that way, so can we take a picture of a kingfisher swallowing a fish? I'll keep that fish as a bait. So will that be accepted in nature photography?
Why not? Why not? If you read PSA rules,
Okay, sir.
if you read PSA rules,
Yeah.
it categorically says
Yes.
that even picture taken in a zoo where the animals are dependent upon human beings for their food,
Yes.
acceptable in nature section, not in wildlife section. It's very,
Not in.
very clear. Not.
Oh,
You cannot put these pictures. I cannot put this picture in wildlife section. No. And
Okay.
also I tell you, I cannot use this picture for a distinction from RPS. It says very clearly that a picture which has been set up by a mentor is not permissible, and they know. They are we are part-time photographers. They are professional photographers, people who run the Royal Photographic Society.
Yes.
So they will immediately know that this is a setup picture. That's not it.
Okay.
But for
So,
salon purposes,
yeah.
100%, no questions asked.
Yes, sir. But the problem is that in many of the salons, nature and wildlife are clubbed together.
Yes. Then everything becomes nature, not wildlife.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Then it becomes acceptable.
Yes. Why not?
Okay.
I've got so many acceptances on this picture. Not only in India, abroad
Yeah.
also, in America, in Europe, everywhere.
Yeah. So if the light has gone down, which happens many a times, and I see a very interesting species or interaction between species, can I use the flash to capture that moment?
Yes, why not? Nothing happens to animal's eyes. It's a misconception that use of flash is detrimental to the eyes of the animals. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for your fine presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, may I ask a question?
Why not? Please.
Sir, since you have been in wildlife photography for such a long time,
Yes.
sir, the new enthusiasts, they may be interested in knowing what kind of lens do you use for your wildlife photography purpose.
Oh, well, I mostly use prime lenses like 600, 400, 200. That's like, I have some zooms also, 70 to 200, 120 to 300, but mostly 600 or 400, 2.8, 600, f4. I also have a 800 5.6, which I generally do not carry to Africa. Very heavy to carry around.
Sir, what is your opinion about using teleconverters?
It should not be used. I'm very clear about it. The picture becomes soft. You lose the crispness of the picture.
Sir, your experience about using mirrorless cameras in wildlife photography. The distinct advantage they have is that they are lighter.
You see, what you are saying is absolutely correct. Last year, I went to Ranthambore with a mirrorless camera, which
Yes.
Nikon had given me on hire, just to use it.
Yes, sir.
You see, when I'm shooting in wild,
Yes.
I use heavy lenses, sometimes 600,
Yeah.
even 800.
Yeah.
The body which I use is about 1.5 kilos.
Yeah.
A mirrorless is 700 grams.
Yes.
So all I am saving is 700 grams in a total weight of 6 kilos.
Okay. Okay, sir.
And I hardly shoot handed. I use a
Okay.
bean bag.
Bin bag.
I carry 2-3 bean bags.
Mhm.
Wherever I get a occasion, I set up my bean bag first and then put my lens there. Because with a 500 or 600 mm lens, even the slightest shake will destroy your picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So that is only true when you are shooting handheld. So that time, the weight of the equipment does matter.
Yes.
But even in Mangla Jodi, I hardly shoot handheld. I either sit on the bottom of the boat and use a bean bag or use a tripod and then use my
Okay.
lens.
Okay. So hopefully the Z series lenses they are coming out will be lighter. The Z series new lenses that they are coming out, Sony has come out with the 200, 600. Hopefully they will be lighter and they will
Yes.
work as well.
Why not? Why not? The
Yeah,
technology will
yeah.
always keep improving.
Yeah.
The technology can never be static.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, apart from the weight of the mirrorless camera being less, the other big advantage is its autofocus mechanism, that animal eye tracking. What would you say about?
I don't find that very attractive. Very advantageous over my DSLR. Fast. I have not used the most latest mirrorless from Nikon, which is D7II or
Yeah.
D6II. That I have not used. But D6, which I used last year, was not faster than my D5. Not at all
Okay.
faster.
Okay.
But you see, today the D72 has come, which may be faster than D5. Then they will come with D6, which will beat D72. This will
Eh,
go going. It's a continuous process.
yes, sir.
Remember
Yes, sir.
our ambassador car made in
Yeah.
Calcutta.
Yeah.
You know, if you start in the morning, it used to take 10 minutes. Now you push a button, the car gets a start. Now there is a technology. The moment you press the button of your remote key, the car engine will get start. Even the car will drive itself to you in the car park without a driver. So the technology is always advancing, but you cannot wait. Okay, after this technology, I'll wait till something new comes and then I will use. You know, the time is passing out. Nothing waits for you. So whatever is available within your budget, you should start working with that.
Sir, what mode do you use usually while doing wildlife? Aperture
Sorry,
priority or manual, or what mode you
why
use?
not?
Yeah.
I was a great advocate of manual,
Okay, sir.
but recently I'm also using aperture priority.
Okay. Okay, sir. Oh,
Hello,
Yes.
this is Saurabh Bhattacharya from Mumbai. Sir, I
please,
have
sir.
one basic question.
Yes.
When the presence of man-made elements are allowed in nature photography, is it allowed at all?
Sorry, say it again. Say it again. This is a very contentious issue. You have started. You complete the question again, please, and then I will tell you something.
Okay. When the presence of any man-made element is
Yes.
acceptable in nature photography,
Okay.
is
Now,
it acceptable at all?
There are certain conditions in which PSA says that man-made objects are allowed, like radio collars. They are allowed. A barn owl who lives in the barn, which is a man-made thing, is allowed. If suppose there is a hurricane, there is a cyclone, like the one which affected the coast of Bengal recently. The effect of cyclone has destroyed a village, man-made village. If you take picture of that, it is allowed.
Okay.
But if you take picture of a lion or a tiger or a leopard or an elephant walking on a man-made road, it is not allowed.
Okay.
I have engaged PSA officials on a lengthy discussion in writing about this. I think they are absolutely wrong in thinking that roads in the forest are made for tourists only. And that's why they don't allow it. My argument is very simple. If you allow a radio collar, because radio collar is to study the behavior of that animal so that we can help them survive better in the natural surroundings. That's the purpose. Research. Now, suppose there were no roads in the jungle and the poachers go crazy, then how the anti-poaching unit will reach them if there are no roads? If there is a fire in the forest, how the anti-fire team will reach there if there are no roads? There are many other arguments, like and endemics of many diseases which affect the animals. How would you give the vaccines to the animals if there are no roads? How will you reach them? Certain forests in India also become very dry in the summer season. So a tanker has to go and fill up the tanks for the animals to come and quench their thirst. How will they go there if there are no roads? So this argument and letters are being exchanged with PSA. Hopefully, they will understand and change their, anti-road status.
Okay.
I think roads, at least in India, we don't mind roads. If you have taken picture of a tiger coming on the road with a kill in the mouth, I'll give it a award. If the picture is sharp and well composed, I'll give it an award.
Okay. Suppose there is one electrical pole in a landscape. Can we consider it in a good photograph in nature photography?
No, not in nature.
Okay.
Not in nature. If for landscape, yes. Landscape can be in pictorial section, landscape can be in nature section. These are two different things.
Okay. Okay. In nature section, it will not be allowed. Okay.
No,
Thank you, sir.
my pleasure.
Can I ask 2 questions, sir?
You can ask 3 questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. The first is, that's a beautiful presentation as usual. I have been seeing it for last 20 years, I think. All are different. The first thing is that for a beginner who is begin photography in any genre, maybe nature, wildlife, or portrait, or any genre, what should he or she opt for to proceed further? That I want answer from an experienced person like you. This is number 1. Number 2 will be a little technical. That will ask later on.
Well, we do photography for our joy. The thing which gives you most pleasure, shooting whatever, macro, shooting in the street, you do that. It's not that one should do this or that only. Whatever gives you pleasure, time pass and it thrills you. When you see the picture, oh wow, kya picture kicha hai. You should do that. You cannot define that.
But who will say that wow? The Facebook group, or his or her friend, or he himself?
No. Himself. You have to be your own critic first. Then in your club, you see Facebook, I have perhaps never seen a truly critical comment. Because it's a social media, so many people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very small group, only 2 or 3 persons are there. We exchange pictures and we really dissect it up.
But where
So
that person
you
will
have
go?
You need to have that kind of a small club where, in Patna we used to have twice a month meeting and we used to, bring our pictures and healthy, constructive criticism. That was the main idea.
Okay, that's fine. That's I think that will be very helpful for the upcoming photographic friends who are in this group. Second thing is that the flash that you are using is a normal flash gun?
What is abnormal and what is abnormal?
No, I'll tell what is abnormal. Is it the normal flash gun that we use, the speed light?
For the hummingbird.
Yeah, that you have used, the two images that you have.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So,
Vivita. The small
Digital.
Vivita. No,
Vivita flash gun.
Vivita, small
Okay,
one,
understood.
not
Small
the
one,
big
yeah.
Not
Okay.
the-
Now, what I was thinking, I never knew that it's going on this way. What I was thinking that if we can use a high-speed flash,
Yes.
a high-speed flash, which synchronizes about 4,000, 6,000 shutter speed.
Up to 20,000.
So no. It synchronizes at 4,000 shutter speed.
No. No camera, no commercial camera, I said. Scientific cameras are different. No commercial camera can synchronize at more than 1/250 of the second.
That is what I am telling. The
Yeah.
high-speed flash gun synchronizes at 1/4000 part of a second.
It
Those are
doesn't
special.
synchronize. You see, it doesn't synchronize. It is the duration of the flash. If you use in the night when everything is dark, then only thing which will register on your sensor is the one which is lighted by the flash. And since the duration of the flash itself is 1/10 to 1/20,000 of the second, depending on the intensity of the flash. You can reduce or increase the intensity 1/1, 1/4, 1/16, 1/32. If you go to 1/32 or 1/64, the duration becomes less. Intensity also becomes less.
That I understood. That is when it's dark. But if you shoot in the daylight and you have a shutter speed of 1/250, an aperture of say the distance of the flash.
The daylight will disturb your picture. So
That is what I am. That is what I am telling. That is what I am telling. The high-speed flash guns they synchronize at 1/4000 part of a second. Okay.
You have to use in a shade so that the light is not very bright. You have to reduce the ISO. You have to increase the aperture to 8 or 11, so that if you shoot a picture without a flash, nothing should register. And then use flash.
I think I'm unable to put my point. What I was trying to tell. That is what you are telling about is of a normal flash gun, that is speed light. What I am telling is of a high speed flash gun that are available that synchronizes at 1/4000 part of a second, starting from say 1 second. It can synchronize at any speed. So that helps in controlling your daylight also. What I am trying to tell is that
okay. I have no experience of that flash.
Yeah. That I was telling that.
I use that flash. What I have used was a simple flash, which you get in Chandni Chowk in Delhi for 3,000 rupees.
Now there's a being used.
What you are talking about is it costs about 20,000 rupees.
Normal speed lights are like that only. Nikon, if you take a speed light, Nikon speed light is around 15 to 18,000 rupees. Normal one. High speed one is like that 20-25,000.
Yeah.
But those are very effective in daylight also. You can use them in daylight also. If there is a species in the shade and there is a background is highlight, you can use them by using a high
I've
shutter
seen
speed.
people using that, but
Yes.
since in my photography, there's hardly any use of that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Not at all.
Sir, hello.
Yes, please.
Saurabh Bhattacharya. Are you using graduated ND in nature photography?
Graduated ND in nature photography. For landscapes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because after 10 o'clock, light will be very harsh. So,
No, you see, in India, after 9 o'clock, you have to leave the forest. Okay, 9:30 के लगभग में आपको जंगल के बाहर आ जाना है। अगर आप ज्यादा पैसा देकर के होल डे सफारी लेते हैं, तो in winter it is all right. In summer, the light is very harsh. You can't help it.
okay.
Very occasionally you will get a tiger in the water, which is under the shade of a tree. You will get good pictures, but that possibilities are very remote.
Okay.
In Africa, the light is different, but even there, after 10, 11, you're allowed to move in the forest, and you may get action pictures. That's all. But most of the actions take place in the afternoon or in the morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, I want to ask you, how do you use the autofocus points in your wildlife photography? Whether you use a single point focus or a multiple point focus, and how do you change while shooting?
I did not follow your question. Can you repeat it, please?
How do you use your autofocus points in wildlife photography? Whether you use a single point focus or a multiple point focus?
I don't use single point, but I use 9 points.
Always 9 points.
9 points, yes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Whatever you do, you use single point, 9 point, 25 points. You should stick to that.
Okay.
Don't change it every day,
No. Okay, sir.
so that you will know the benefits of it, and
Yeah. Yeah, the problem is that, sir, if we are using a 9 point focus, say, with a small bird in a bush, then most of the time the bird does not come in focus. So that at that time you have to change over to a single point focus immediately, so that you can pin the focus on the bird only. That is what I try to do.
yeah, if you are shooting a bird in flight,
Yeah.
then you can increase to 75.
Yeah.
But generally, it's not an easy task. If you get one good picture in one morning, you will be lucky.
Yes.
It's very difficult,
Yes.
especially if the bird is flying across you. If the bird is sitting on a perch, say about 50 yards from you, and it starts flying towards you, it is very easy to do. But if it flies across the across the field, it is easy to shoot when it is in the air against the sky, but it is very difficult to shoot when the background is the foliage.
Yes, sir. Sir, my last question is that whether you take the exposure in a neutral exposure or a stop underexposed, what is the practice, sir?
No, you see, your exposure meter is not the true marker of the light. It is
Okay.
made by the company according to the 18% gray system.
Yes, sir.
So in an Indian forest, when you enter, you have to underexpose by 1 or 2 stones.
Yes, sir. That is what. Okay, sir.
Whereas if you shoot in the Himalayas, you have
Yes.
to overexpose by that much.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Does anyone have any question to ask Dr. Sinha? Does anyone have any question to ask Dr. Sinha?
না, কারো কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে বলে মনে হচ্ছে না। তো थैंक यू सर। और किसी के पास कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो
Thank you, sir.
हाँ, थैंक यू।
My pleasure.
সৌরভ
Thank
আওয়াজ
you,
আসছে
sir.
না।
That brings us to the end of this session. Thank you, sir, for this nice presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Okay. Good night.
गुड नाइट सर।
Good night, sir.
Good night.